be a little bit of confusion maybe with regards to what constitutes bullying, what would fall under grievance policies or procedures, and what would be defined then as well as harassment. So there was a new bullying code of practice that was released last year in conjunction with the WRC and the Health and Safety Authority. So bullying is defined, I suppose, as repeated inappropriate behaviour. That could be direct, indirect, physical or verbal. It can involve exclusion or isolation and can also involve aggressive interactions. So it would be repeated acts which undermine somebody's respect and dignity in the workplace. And it would also be, I suppose, considered to be bullying if it might be digital. So I suppose social media platforms are quite big these days. So bullying can also happen in a digital forum or in a digital format by messaging or through social media. So I suppose that would be the definition of bullying. I suppose what's interesting about the code of practice that was released is it specifies that management, performance management and constructive feedback would not be considered bullying. So obviously once it's not with the intention of undermining someone's dignity in work or not with the intention of humiliating someone, that would not be considered bullying, because often, employees who are being performance managed might maybe feel a little bit peeved or a little bit upset about getting, feedback that might highlight shortcomings or negative aspects of how they're working. In relation to harassment then, I suppose the definition for the purposes of employment law, harassment would be any form of unwanted conduct in relation to the 9 grounds of discrimination. That can be a one-off. So in relation to bullying, it needs to be repeated issues. With harassment, it can be a one-off incident. I suppose in everyday language, you would refer to maybe harassment if somebody is, maybe pestering somebody or making, I suppose, too much contact with them. That's not the case for the purposes of employment law and the legal definition. It does have to be linked to one of the 9 grounds of discrimination. So I suppose if you do get any sort of a complaint, in order to ascertain what policy or procedure should apply, you would be looking at, are there repeated incidents? Does it fall under the 9 grounds of discrimination? So if it's not bullying and it's not harassment, then it would be a grievance. Okay, so just to help you to, I suppose, identify what the actual issue would fall under and what policy or procedure to follow.